Welcome to Frequency Independent YouTube channel. This is Louie, and I am sitting in a garage out in the country with Mr. Crazy Thing right here. You want to know what Crazy Thing is? If you don't know, Crazy Thing is a gentleman that is making a living doing some airbrushing. Turned it into, is there anything in that?
No, water.
I don't even know how airbrushing works. I'm going to be honest with you. How does airbrushing work? That's a good start question, man.
Believe it or not, it starts with air.
Okay, that makes sense.
But this is actually acrylic paint, so it's very safe. It doesn't have all the fumes and craziness in it. So when I start my videos like that, people were freaking out like, oh, you can't do that. Like it's just water. I clean them out with water.
And the water like shoots out the...
But during the day while I'm airbrushing all my projects, I'll fill this full of paint.
Okay.
I'll reduce it according to what I'm working on and how much detail and what the substrate is. But then when I'm done at the end of the day, I'll clean it back out with water, and then I'm back with water again.
I see a lot of people with airbrushing, you remember like going, you had it in the mall and different places like that. I know, maybe I'm showing my age a little bit, but there used to be, and that's how people knew it.
Yep.
And it's not out like it used to be. There's not a lot of people that do it now.
Well, nobody can do it. Let me rephrase that. Nobody does it the way I do it.
Yeah.
Most people, when I say, oh, I'm an airbrush artist, they instantly think, I'm going to put your name on it with like these little stars on it. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't do that.
A t-shirt with the pink swoosh.
Yeah, that's not me. That's not my art. That's not my style. And I don't use stencils. My work's freehand.
Basically what he does, and I'll show you here with the camera here in just a bit, but it's art, like an artist using paint on a canvas, but he's using the airbrush and he's doing it. He still does shirts, but he does not your typical style of airbrushing is what I would say, because you've got quite a variety of, look at that. Did you airbrush that?
I did.
Man, I don't even know if you can see that, but there's a dime. That's an airbrush dime.
I did that just to see if I could.
Man, that's pretty good. Wow.
You won't find many people on this planet that do that.
So is airbrushing...
I just pushed myself.
Is airbrushing like tattooing, that you got to have different... Like they got to have different needles? Do you have different... How do you...
I will take and airbrush a building with this.
Yeah, really?
And use the same exact one to airbrush the dial.
It's just a trigger, right? How much you bring.
It's the trigger controls, how you reduce your paint and things like that. And I'll use the same paint. I'll do the hood of your car I'll use for this. It's all more controlled by me than it is by the equipment. And that's the difference between me and a lot of the other people that you talked about.
So did you used to draw, paint, anything like that? Where did the art aspect? Because that's what I'm fascinated with, just art. Creativity is what I live for. This is creativity and art. Where did it start?
I've always been artistic, not drawing. Autistic. Yeah, that's probably in there too. But I've always been able to draw, and people's always told me you should be. Since I was probably 10 years old, you're going to be a great tattoo artist.
Is that something you ever thought about?
Not really.
Not really, yeah.
And I say that for several reasons. I love art myself. I love seeing what people put on them. But then you see a lot of stuff on there like, why did they do that?
Yeah.
And then you hear everybody, man, I got this one. I wish I hadn't. I got that one. I got covered up. And I got my ex-wife's, name across my face. I don't want to be, I would want to be more towards the art of it than I would just to have something on you. And then I'll tell people that ask every day, you should do tattoos. Drive around 50 miles and tell me how many tattoo shops you going to find.
There's a lot.
How many airbrush shops
there's
you
not,
going to find?
Yeah, definitely.
So
did you start out with a pencil on notebooks in school? Is that how it started?
I filled up notebooks. And when I say filled up, I mean I used to take a pen. I stopped using pencil when I was probably in my early teens, because most people will draw something out with a pencil and then go back over it with a pen. To me, after you get to a certain level, you're just wasting your time. Yeah, if you can do it right the first time.
Yeah.
So I would actually start at the bottom of a page, and Louie, I would draw these little half circles and stack them on top of each other. In my mind, they were rocks. And I would stack them up and stack them up and stack them. I'd fill the page up and flip it over and do it again. And I know that sounds crazy, but that was my way of coping with life. And, you know.
Yeah, no, I get it. I doodle.
But what that caused, without me realizing it, is I know exactly where the end of that pin is, to the point where it's precision. I'm surgical with an ink pen.
I mean, and
that's what it takes to get
transcended into that. Where did you like? I'm pretty sure you like couldn't go to Walmart and buy like an air gun or a airbrush gun. Where did the whole airbrushing aspect come into play?
Honestly, I was thrown into it.
Okay.
Kind of thrown under the bus. One Christmas, my mother and my uncle got together and bought a kit. And they're like,
oh, did they really?
They're like, here, you should do this. And I'm like, man, that sounds expensive. Like now, you know, I'm buying paint and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. Will it come with everything you need? You literally plug in the compressor. I still have the compressor. Plug it in, hook up your gun, pour the paint in and go. People's like, well, what's the first thing you ever airbrushed? The styrofoam that it came in. I put a green skull on it. And I was like, it was like Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Like everything just opened up. Well, then as I start doing some research, I realized that the possibilities are endless. You can only do so much with an ink pen.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
Even you can only do so much with a tattoo gun. You're limited to, you know, canvas of a skin, pig skin or something, you know, to practice on. Well, now I will airbrush on anything that'll sit still.
What is the weirdest thing that you've airbrushed on? I think I did see a toilet seat one time.
That's a good way to get kicked off the internet.
Is that the weirdest one?
That's not even close to the weirdest.
I'm sure.
My wife can help with this one. We actually had somebody send us, which people send us stuff all the time, send us a bodysuit.
I just saw that. Yeah, that's
and
online.
That one was interesting. Yeah. Without getting down a dirty road, this was for cosplay. They had an outfit that they were going to do at a cosplay show, and they were going to be Eddie from Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And they needed this elaborate design done on this bodysuit. Well, that's not something that I can just lay on the table and airbrush.
So she had to stand there and do it?
My wife volunteered, luckily, for 3 hours.
And you had to get up close and personal, I'm sure.
There is not a part of that fabric that I did not airbrush.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, but I do a little bit of everything.
Well, another thing, too, is you've mentioned that you've got a map or something. You've done, it's not just like he's airbrushing for people down the road. And I'm sure he does, but you've turned it into an online business. Correct?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because when I started airbrushing, it was thousands and thousands of hours of practicing and falling in love with it. And then a couple of people was like, well, could you do something for me? Like, I never thought of that. Yeah, so I started selling stuff. Well, when we decided, after a few years, let's just go for it. Let me try this full time, because the more I put into this, the more people want.
Yeah.
But it's like my other job was pushing me, and so we jumped for it. Awesome, let's go for it. And then COVID hit.
Oh, so that's when you made
No, I just changed my entire life and my everything, and now everything's shutting down.
It seems like it might have even been a better time, though, because then
that's what happened. Yeah. Everything went online. Everything. Like my first Etsy sale, I had a friend of mine set me up an Etsy page. It went to San Antonio, Texas.
So when you first started doing it, you was thinking locally,
right?
And then COVID made you think beyond that. Yeah, go ahead.
And it did. It exploded. So, like you said with the map, I keep track of every sale, and there's I have sales and artwork in every state of the United States, including Puerto Rico and Guam, and 12 other countries.
That's pretty wild.
It's crazy.
So what all avenues do you have online that you're getting this exposure from?
All of them I can get my hands on and find time to do. But Etsy is the one that ships. So I try to funnel everybody to that. That way they can see my prices, or they might even see something that's already there that they might like. Yeah. So I'm really a big habit of, links in the bio. Go to my Etsy page. Go find me there. But I do have a website, crazythingart.com. Thousands and thousands of pictures on it. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. Do have a YouTube. And TikTok right now is currently my hottest. Okay. We done a live video today. And I think we ended up with a video with 6,000 views on it.
Heck yeah, dude.
from it, you know, and the one from this morning was 10,000 views. That's amazing to me, you know.
Well, and like you said, it's not something that there's not a lot of people that do it. So it's intriguing to people when they see it that they're like, wow, all right. He's airbrushing. And then they're like, oh, wow, look what he's airbrushing. I mean, looking around the room here, I see shirts. I see, like, let me move the camera a little bit.
License plates.
Show people what we got here. Just going to kind of pan around a little bit. You got nothing I don't need to show, right?
Nope. Nope, I hid that one.
You know, you got, there's a good sloth there. I got the camera backwards on me, so I can't really see. But
I've got the self-portrait.
Look at that. Look at that.
That's me in the future.
So this is all airbrushing. He does do some shirts, stuff like that as well. And
cars, buildings.
Trucks, license plates. I see pumpkins. I see
I do
a little bit of everything.
Retired bowling balls, retired pool balls.
That's cool too.
Any kind of clothing, from your shoes to your hat and everything in between.
And like I said, the precision that's pretty cool.
One of the reasons I did that one was
cool. That is a dime.
I use that to push other artists.
Just to show you, it's a dime, 10 cents.
Because the key is that it's freehand. I will upset another artist and tell them.
And that's the thing too. You did say you do freehand. You don't.
Everybody wants that dollar. Spray it real quick.
My question, and this is probably the taboo terrible, but how easy is it to screw something up?
Very, very easy. But it's the same concept too, as I said earlier with the pencil and the pen, that I have gotten to a level where I don't draw anything out.
Yeah.
I don't map it out first. I just go for it. And it's the same concept, whether it's this canvas, a shirt, or 2 weeks ago I was in Tennessee doing a 77 Nova, sitting inside a body shop.
What kind of pressure is there when you're doing that?
That's kind of where I was leading. You can psych yourself out if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Drove all the way down there, sight unseen, other than pictures. And I'm sitting in this man's garage, and he's telling me the story how this is his dad's truck, his dad's car. His dad has passed away, and he went through all these steps to get the car, and now I'm airbrushing on this car. So yeah, there's a few minutes there where you're like, you know, you can easily talk yourself out of it. Like, what am I doing? But you've got to have that confidence, and that comes from, I know I can do this. You know, it's not something I haven't done before. So.
And kids, that's with anything.
Yeah.
Just have the confidence. You know what I'm saying? You can screw up anything. Anything throughout your day.
Go make that mistake.
Yeah.
Do it. Make the mistake.
But that's so. Dang, you do cars too. Like, how big of a spectrum have you done on a car before?
I did a Volkswagen bus.
Okay.
It had a 27-foot dragon around it.
That's pretty well. How long does something like that take?
60 hours, what I had on that one.
60
what
hours.
I calculated. Could be a little more, a little less.
Yeah. What is it special paint?
Not for me. What I use
is... you have to use... You said you didn't use different paint.
I use acrylic-based paint.
Is that what you
I would use this to do that dime. I would do this to either a building or a car or anything else. But it's not the paint that's complicated, it's sealing it. With an automotive, you need a clear coat to go over top of it. With a shirt, it needs to be heat set into the fabric and different clear coats.
Use irons or something?
Currently, I'm using an iron, but I am looking to step up and get out of the old school to where maybe I can get a heat press.
Yeah.
But that's whether or not it'll be cost effective. Because see, with me doing shirts, I can do the whole entire shirt. A lot of times a heat press only does a little part of it.
Yeah.
So if I got to heat press the shirt 5 times, did I really save any time? Just use the iron and be done with it.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get it. It's pretty impressive, man. Like I said, it's. I would have thought it was a dying art form until you start popping up, and then you just kept going, and then I'd see different things you posted. Then you'd start talking about the different places that you're doing this through, and it just it's pretty cool, man. You got your niche. You've made it. It's the American dream, right?
I live it every day.
That's what I'm saying.
You see how far I go to work. 60, 70 feet. I got to walk to work every day. It's horrible.
I hear you. It's pretty impressive. If anybody wants to find out more, give them some direct links again. That way.
Google search Crazy Thing Art.
Where did the Crazy Thing come from, by the way? Is that something we can talk about, or should we not talk about that one?
Remember we off camera we were talking about the trouble I got into?
Does it have something to do with that?
It came from there.
Okay. Gotcha.
When I was 14 years old, I was given a nickname, and I worked my hardest to live up to it as a teenager and in my 20s. And when I got older, I decided to put it towards my art.
Yeah, I got you.
And I started tagging everything with that name because it stuck. And then people knew me by that. And now a lot of people don't even know my first name.
Yeah.
You just look up Crazy Thing. Crazy Thing Art on. If you Google me, you'll find me everywhere.
And do it. Because I mean, I want to see somebody hit him up with something he's never done before. He's never airbrushed before, and just see how it turns out, what it is. Because I've definitely different spectrums, man, from cartoon characters to, I mean, this sloth right here is lifelike looking, and it's pretty impressive stuff, man. It's cool to talk to you about it. I love what I do. Don't forget, check him out, Crazy Thing Airbrushing. You can find him anywhere online. Just Google it. Check all your social networks, and man, I'm gonna have to get me something to airbrush now, ain't it?